Cuba, it's me. Welcome to episode 286 of The Willow Show, which stands for Wrestling is Life. Life is Wrestling. Now, on yesterday's show, I did what was the worst things that happened in wrestling in 2017. So, to bounce back and keep it positive, as I like to do on this show, we are doing what was the best stuff in wrestling of 2017. There's so much. I'll start with Ontario. Ontario, man, is it popping. So many promotions, almost all of them are successful in getting record-breaking attendance. Their attendance, everyone in general, is mostly going up and up and up. Lots of places for the boys to work and the girls to work, and it's just doing really well. Ontario is a hotbed right now, and some of the shows we had over the year, there's been a lot of talent brought in from other places to work with the incredible Ontario talent. Lots of promotions are getting TV now. Um, Man, it's just overall, it's been fantastic for Ontario, and I'm glad to say that I wrestle from here. Um, what else has been really good? Well, the women's revolution in wrestling has, we've seen a lot of firsts this year, like the first women's Hell in a Cell, first Money in the Bank. They just announced the first women's Royal Rumble. It's incredible, it really is. And speaking of women, I have to say, to me, the comeback of the year has to be Paige. After all she went through, man, I'm surprised she didn't commit suicide. On my very first episode of The Willow Show, it was called Turn the Page, and I was saying how she can take this and come back stronger than ever, and I really wish she did. And it took about 270 days or so, but she did, and I'm very happy for that. I think, to me, that was the best comeback. Um, we also got to see a lot of guys that have been around for a long time get the pushes they finally deserve. Look at Jinder Mahal, for instance. He's been basically a mid-card or jobber for his entire career, and he becomes world champion and has a heck of a 6-month run. Like, that was pretty impressive to me. Some of the matches I liked. I'm trying to think. There was that one with, it was like the Authors of Pain and, who was it? Sanity, and I can't remember. It was a triple threat tag match at one of the takeovers, where the one where Nikki Storm got put through the table. That was one of my favorite matches. Basically anything with Authors of Pain. I wasn't really huge on the War Games match, but any Authors of Pain match on the takeovers have been great this year. My favorite match, though, probably that when I first think of my favorite match, it has to be Aleister Black versus Velveteen Dream. That match blew me away. And it still is like the only match that I've actually gone back and watched, where I never usually really ever do that. Um, but yeah, there's been a lot of good in wrestling. I mean, there's always a lot of bad, but today's the good stuff in wrestling. The whole the Chris Jericho doing the Wrestle Kingdom thing, that's great for everybody all around. It's just making it so there's competition again, and that's really great to see. The other indies that are like the top indies, I guess you would say, like Impact, moving to Canada, I think that's a great move, especially for the Canada guys. And now it appears that they're doing the tapings down in Florida again. But it was really good to see a lot of local talent get a chance and get to be on TV a little bit, get some exposure, help them maybe get some bookings in the States. Um, a lot of Ontario guys were really successful this year. Sean Spears did well for himself. Eric Young, Bobby Roode. Hornet is a referee in NXT now. Rex Atkins got to appear on Raw. Tomer Shalom got to appear on Raw and actually do a match. It's just looking fantastic out there, and there's so many. I just got a big smile on my face. I should have written down some stuff. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. What are some of the best matches, the best angles? I really enjoyed the Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho angle, although that was kind of at the start of the year there, and it just kind of ended by WrestleMania, but that was a great way to kick off the year. The whole, like, the SmackDown brand split thing, makes sense. I don't even know if that was this year, but there's been some good things. Braun Strowman, to me, was one of the highlights of the year. I remember, like, 2 years ago, they were saying, when he was in the Wyatt family still, about how they were grooming him to go against Lesnar, and man, he just didn't look like he had it. Man, has that guy ever improved fast? He is amazing now, and Yeah, he should be the champion for sure. He deserves that spot. He's got the look. He's working the show, all the shows, and he looks like a champion that you could be proud of. And his work rate has improved tremendously. We got to also see like a lot of indie guys get their chance, get signed by WWE. So that's always good when you see that. Um, what's his name? Ethan Page. He got signed to Impact. Rosemary's in Impact now. Crazy Steve was in there for a bit. I don't know if he still is. But yeah, Ontario is doing fantastic. And then if you look at all of Canada, BC is really thriving right now. There's about 4 or 5 really good promotions there. And out east in Newfoundland and Nova Scotia, New Brunswick and whatnot, they're pulling together some really great shows that is just fantastic to see. We've had so much new great content out there. There's so many new podcasts and like shoot interviews and radio shows and those kind of things that it's just at an all-time high. Some of the best stuff that you're going to get to see anywhere else. The return of Kurt Angle was pretty amazing. I really enjoyed that, and when I said even on the Will show I didn't want him to come back as general manager, I wanted to see him wrestle. Mind you, the matches he wrestled in, it wasn't like a singles Kurt Angle match, but it was still great nostalgia factor to see him back. What else could we see that was great? I guess it's subjective. What do you guys think is great? I want to know. I had a great year professionally and personally, considering I started off with a broken ankle, but my New Year's review will be tomorrow, so I'm not focusing on myself. So that's all I can think of off the top of my head. There's probably a lot more. I just didn't have time to do my homework and really think it through. So that leaves it open for you guys on the Willow Show. What was your favorite things this year in wrestling in 2017? Because as always, like or you get a leg drop, comment or you get a clothesline, subscribe or you get a suplex. I'm your host, Elian Habanero. I love wrestling. Cuba.